All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, welcome back. You know what we do here on this show. I give you my take and then I bait. Okay, I give you my take and then I bait. Anyway, before I bait, I'm gonna give you my take. So make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel because it's going down right about now, man. Please. All right, after you watch this video, you know, if you could send this to 2 to 3 people, it will be greatly appreciated. And just know you did something good for the day, okay? So once again, after this video concludes, send this video to 2 to 3 people, whether it be boxing fans, sports fans. We have it all here on this YouTube channel known as Real Leel TV. And that's what we do. But anyway, I want to give my second reactions to Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez. The fight went down on Saturday night, and I actually did a video a couple days ago, instant reactions, and I just want to follow up here just to point out a couple things that I'm seeing all over the internet. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, you know, they're comparing Caleb Plant's fight with, you know, the Mexican Monster, and they're comparing Demetrius Andrade's performance against the Mexican Monster and saying that, you know, Caleb Plant fought a way better fight. And I just want to kind of fine-tune some things, okay, and use context in this little debate right here, because context is everything. You know, a lot of people, they look at the world in a black and white format. You know, you win, you lose, you this, you that, you know, you shot this, that, and third. But it's more to it. Context is everything when you say something, okay? Yeah, I know the sky is blue, but why is the sky blue, you know? So I'm gonna point that out here in this debate. First off, when you look at Demetrius Andrade and how that fight turned out, you know, we have to realize that Demetrius Andrade fought a totally different fight than Caleb Plant. And, you know, Demetrius Andrade took a page out of the Mexican Monster's book by backing him up, throwing combinations, throwing shots to the body, to the head. And, you know, he was on a suicide mission. That was what his game plan was. In no capacity did Caleb Plant even attempt to do that against the Mexican Monster. So clearly there was a difference in game plans, okay? Because I'm guessing the trainer, which is David Benavidez, you know, that was the game plan for Andrade to go and try to, you know, back up Benavidez, and he was doing a decent job in the beginning. And, you know, things happen. But let's be clear here, okay? By Andrade, okay, throwing those body shots and using his energy to no avail. First of all, the punches didn't even seem to affect the Mexican Monster. There was one point in the fight where I literally saw, you know, David Benavidez just allowing Andrade to throw what he had to throw. Like, yo, okay, throw some steam, brother. Take a load off. You having a bad day, okay. Just standing there. And then, obviously, that was one point in the fight until the Mexican Monster turned it up, right? Caleb Plant, he ran away for 12 rounds, right? He outboxed him. He won some rounds in the beginning, but his was a safety precaution, and that's what ended up getting him to the, you know, to the end of the fight, to the decision, to the cards. But we also do have to take in context here that the referee, Kenny Bayless, who should be paid less, okay, because he got to shoot from pay less, okay, was having a big part of, you know, Plant being able to survive the tornado that was the Mexican Monster, okay? Because he kept allowing Caleb Plant to clinch every 5 seconds and gave him no warning or no point deducted, okay? Not even a warning for his clinching. So, of course, Caleb Plant is going to use that to his safety and clinch so he can be able to stop the Mexican Monster in his tracks. That fight should have ended in round 6 or 7, maybe 7 or 8. Okay, a lot of people's comparing rounds. Andrade, you know, went down and quit on a stool in 6, and then they say, you know, Caleb Plant went the distance. But where's the context here? Okay, because clearly both fighters struggled right at the point of the second half of the fight. Andrade got hit with a shot. It was a loop in right, okay, and it changed the trajectory of the fight. Same thing with Caleb Plant. When David Benavidez hit Caleb Plant with a shot to the body, it changed the trajectory of the fight. One shot changed the trajectory of the fight. So that's a testament to David Benavidez' power, because a lot of people don't think he's a power guy, more of a volume guy, but clearly he's hurting fighters with one shot. Okay, may not be knocking them out with one shot, but he's hurting them in fights or being altered due to one shot. Okay, that happened in Plant, that happened in Andrade. Benavidez just happened to land that shot earlier because, Andrade's plan was different. It was more of a bad game plan. I thought that Andrade should have been on his bicycle a little bit more, but credit to Andrade, he wanted to make a statement. Maybe it was the wrong way to go about it, but unlike Plant, Andrade took some risks. He brought the fight to Benavidez. That was not happening. That did not happen in a Caleb Plant fight. It did not. Andrade wanted to make a statement. He knew that it was his only opportunity. He got blackballed by boxing. Nobody wanted to fight this cat. Canelo, payday, payday, payday. Well, guess what? They offered Canelo a payday. They offered him $45 million to fight Andrade. So you want to talk about payday? Okay, anybody wants payday. Even rich people like payday. Okay? Ask Jay-Z for $1 across the street. He ain't giving you jack, even though he's a billionaire, because everybody wants payday, even Canelo Alvarez. Okay? They offered him $45 million to fight Demetrius Andrade. He turned it down. Okay? At 154, at 160. So he dared to be great at 168, which is not his normal weight class. When you look at David Benavidez and you look at Demetrius Andrade in the ring, I mean, not to take anything away from, Benavidez, but his main attributes is his cruiserweight size and his volume punching and combination. That's his main attributes, is the fact that he has a gas tank where he doesn't get tired and other fighters do. He has, the combinations, and he also is very big. And when you saw the fight, you saw the size differential clearly looking at these two guys in the ring, which was very different from the weigh-in just the day before. Clearly, Benavidez rehydrated and was bigger, and he looked like a cruiserweight in there. So it was a dumb game plan by Andrade and his team to force Andrade, not force him, but to tell him to go and take the fight to Benavidez, because you're throwing all these shots. You getting tired. It's not affecting Benavidez, and you getting tired by fighting a guy much bigger like that. You're going to get tired. You're going to get gassed out. And one thing about Plant and Andrade that they do have in common to a certain degree, outside of the boxing attributes and skills and, the hit and not get hit style, is that they both have, I won't say stamina issues in Andrade's behalf. He's a fast starter more than anything, and clearly that was evident against Benavidez. He started off fast. If you watch Andrade's career, that's typically how he starts. He starts off fast, and then he kinds of, go back to boxing, and then he takes some rounds off, and he's not the same fighter in the beginning towards the end, clearly, as I could put it. But Caleb Plant is a guy that has stamina issues. We know that. We saw how his fight ended with Canelo, okay? When you're running around, you're going to get tired. So both of these guys had stamina issues, and, it came evident clearly in the fight against Benavidez, in the fights against Benavidez. And Andrade was more tired because he actually tried to take out Benavidez, because it was almost like a Hail Mary game plan by David Benavidez. It was almost like they was defeated. It was like, all right, listen, screw it, F it. We just gonna go out there and back Benavidez up, throw combinations, try to bully him, and that's gonna be our pathway to victory. Well, the problem with that is that you're right in front of Benavidez. So Benavidez doesn't have the issue of trying to close distance, because you're right there. And one thing that Benavidez did, that he doesn't get credit for, a lot of people talk about his defense and all that. He's a defensive liability. He's stationary. He's right in front of you, slow feet. We all know the terms that describe Benavidez on defense to the public appeal. But in those clinches, there were definitely ways in which Benavidez learned from the Caleb Plant fight, okay? You also have to take that in consideration. Caleb Plant was a prerequisite to Andrade, and Benavidez used a lot of what he learned in that fight and applied it to Andrade. So when they was in the clinch, there would be times where, Benavidez would use his head to block Andrade's vision and then disguise the left hook to the body. So those were things that he really did not do. He did not go to the body against Caleb Plant early in the fight. Okay, he was headhunting and trying to close distance because he had beef with this cat, and he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to hurt this guy. He wanted to knock this guy out. and it fell right in the hands of Caleb Plant because he had a safety game plan of box and move and get out the way, move, get out the way. That was his game plan. Well, with Andrade, he took the fight to Benavidez, and he was right in front of him, and Benavidez didn't have no issues, trying to close the distance. He was right there. And he took and applied what he learned from those first 5 rounds and used it against Andrade. So for those of y'all clowns, okay, and people who is just going to look and say, well, Caleb Plant went the distance, so clearly he had a better showing against Andrade. There's more context to it than just that, because we have to factor everything. We have to go back, watch the fight again, watch the fights again, and analyze that from those perspectives. There's so many variables that went into, how Benavidez won the Caleb Plant fight and how Benavidez won the Andrade fight. But technically, it was kind of the same fight. Both fighters got hit with a shot that altered the trajectory of the entire fight, and both fighters couldn't recover from that. Okay, Andrade looked defeated. Clearly, he quit on the stool. His soul was took. And that's the kind of mental issues that present itself when fighting a guy like Benavidez, who's so big, but he throws these barrage of punches coming and flowing. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? That's the mental, part of fighting a guy like David Benavidez. He'll break your will. You know what I'm saying? You got all the boxing attributes and, slick southpaw and all that. But listen, Andrade, he was his game plan was altered. Once he got hit with that shot that looped right in round 4, his game plan was altered. He was in survival mode. He went from being the aggressor to being the survivor. And that's why that fight turned out the way it did. But I gave him an A for effort because at least he tried to make a statement. Like I said, it might not have been the smart play to make, but you have to realize that this guy was blackballed in every weight division. First of all, he fought one time at 168. This is his second fight at 168, and you're fighting a guy that basically is a cruiserweight on top of that. So that's context right there that we do need to apply. And then on top of that, he knows that, the likelihood of him getting a Canelo fight, even if he wins, is basically 50-50, if that. He might have not even got it if he won against David Benavidez. So he's trying to go out here and make a statement. It's his first pay-per-view. He was a little bit erratic. We got to call a spade on top of that. At least Plant had the experience of fighting Canelo. Think about that, okay? Context is everything, folks. Context is everything. I'm hitting y'all with the left. I'm hitting y'all with the right, okay? I'm hitting y'all with some jabs here. Context is everything. Plant already had his opportunity. He fought Canelo, bro. How is not fighting Canelo don't prepare you for David Benavidez, bro? All right? Can we stop this madness right now? He fought Canelo, okay? He fought Canelo and had success in the early rounds against one of the best fighters in the world. I know I come at Canelo, but I call a spade a spade. He's a good fighter. Never said he wasn't. Now, there's things I question about him, but that's another topic for another day. He had success. He was winning the fight prior to him getting stopped. So all that confidence he used against Benavidez, and he had success early on, just was the same simulation. Demetrius Andrade didn't have a Canelo that he fought. Demetrius Andrade had bums, okay? Guys that was coming to pick up a check, okay? With all due respect, okay? So there was no prerequisite to a guy like David Benavidez, okay? So we do have to take those things in consideration. So when we go and we look and we see, oh my gosh, Plant went the distance. What are you doing, Andrade? Context is everything. The fight style was different. The game plans was different. The preparation, the prerequisites was different. It was a totally different thing, okay? Now, okay, if we see in the future Andrade and Plant, then we could probably use that with more context, okay? Because that would be self-explanatory, whoever wins that fight. Boxing is about styles. Styles make fights. We really shouldn't really compare fights because, that's how boxing is. Boxing is about styles, okay? And clearly, the size differential and the styles just didn't measure well for Demetrius Andrade against David Benavidez. And it's okay. Andrade can learn from that. Obviously, a lot of people think he's done, but there's still fights to be made at 168 if he stays there, right? Because Plant, he lost to Canelo, he lost to David Benavidez. He should be available, right? I understand they want to make the Charlo fight, but okay, what happens after Charlo? Okay, what happens if you don't get Charlo? Okay, boxing is not going to end in 2026, okay? The world may end in 2026, which may make boxing end in 2026. But if the world don't end in 2026, then guess what? Boxing ain't ending either. There's fights to be made. Andrade will bounce back, I'm sure. Obviously, the big question will be what he does, at this stage of his career. Does he stay at 168? Does he go back down? We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. But what I do know is that we need to stop comparing Caleb Plant's fight with David Benavidez and Andrade's fight against David Benavidez and give David Benavidez some credit for being the Mexican monster that he is. And I'm out of here. Good night.